is Saturday.
Yes.
In Sanskrit, this is the day of Saturn. And in Sanskrit, Saturn is Shani, which is short for Shanaishcha, slowly moving. Because a Saturn year, for a Saturn to make one full circle, is 30 years. Longer than all the other planets. Jyotish. So you have a big verse, 2, big translation, and very nice big purport. So you can peacefully settle down. Manishina. Great learned Brahmanas performing ritualistic ceremonies and sacrifices.
Great learned Brahmanas performing ritualistic ceremonies and sacrifices.
Anta Hridi.
Anta Hridi.
Within the core of the heart.
Within the core of the heart.
Sanniveshitam.
Sanniveshitam.
Being situated.
Being situated.
Sashaktivi.
Sashaktivi.
With his own spiritual potencies.
With his own spiritual potencies.
Navavi.
Navavi.
Also with the 9 different material potencies.
Also with the 9 different material potencies.
That's an interesting number. Usually we don't have 9. So we have a list. The material nature, the total material energy, the ego, the mind, and the 5 objects of the senses. We can repeat that.
The material nature, the total material energy, the ego, the mind, and the 5 objects of the senses.
So intelligence is missing, but it's put together with the total material energy, Mahatma, and Pradhana is added. Very interesting. Cha, and don't think it's so short, because it's the 5 gross material elements and the 10 acting and knowledge gathering senses.
The 5 gross material elements and the 10 acting and knowledge gathering senses.
It's all there in one little chart. So this is 24 together, okay. Trivriddhi. By the 3 material modes of nature.
By the 3 material modes of nature.
Vahnim. Fire. Vahni. So that's something in between Vatra and Oven. Yatha. Just like. Daruni. Within wood. Panchadashyam. Produced by chanting the 15 hymns known as Samideni mantras.
Produced by chanting the 15 hymns known as Samideni mantras.
Manishaya. By purified intelligence. Nishkarshanti. Extract. Gudham. Although not manifesting. Saha. That Supreme Personality of Godhead. Vai. Indeed. Mama. Toward me. Ashesha. All. Vishesha. Varieties. Maya. Of the illusory energy. Nisheda. By the process of negation. Nirvana. Of liberation. Sukha Anubhuti. Who is realized by transcendental bliss. So what comes first? Bliss or realized? Sa. That Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sarvanama. Who is the source of all names. All names. Not only Krishna Das, but also Clement. Clement, actually, that means in Sanskrit, Kripapala, no, Kripala or Dayalo. Clement, he's merciful. It's Krishna's name. Sarvanama. Who is the source of all? Sa, that Supreme Personality of Godhead.
That's Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Cha, also. Vishvarupa, the gigantic form of the universe.
The gigantic form of the universe.
Prasidatam, may he be merciful.
May he be merciful.
Anirukta, inconceivable.
Inconceivable.
Ukta means like sukta, means cannot describe. Atma Shakti, the reservoir of all spiritual potencies.
The reservoir of all spiritual potencies.
Translation and purpose of His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Just as great learned brahmanas who are expert in performing ritualistic ceremonies and sacrifices can extract the fire dormant within wooden fuel by chanting the 15 Samidani mantras, thus proving the efficacy of the Vedic mantras. So those who are actually advanced in consciousness, in other words, those who are Krishna conscious, can find the super soul, who, by his own spiritual potency, is situated within the heart. Can you find? so, in the wood there is fire. What happened to our old parquet, old floor? Where did we put it? It burned, huh? Yeah. You see, it was a floor for 30 years, but fire was hidden in it, and some warmth, heat also. But it was lying dormant. And then Mahatmananda took and extracted the fire. Must be very sacred fire. With lots of kirtan and japa. So in the same way Krishna is present. The heart is covered by the 3 modes of material nature and the 9 material elements. Material nature, the total material energy, that's pradhana and mahatattva. The ego, the mind, and the 5 objects of sense gratification, and also by the 5 material elements and the 10 senses. These 27 elements. Why 27? Usually 24. What are the 3 additional? Who are the 3 that are added to the usual 24? Three gunas, yes. Correct. These 27 elements constitute the external energy of the Lord. Great yogis meditate upon the Lord who is situated as the super soul, Paramatma, within the core of the heart. Not in the heart, but within the core of the heart. May that super soul be pleased with me. Prasidatam. So this is the essence of bhakti. That's the heart of bhakti. Prasidatam. Oh Krishna, please be pleased with me. Please be satisfied with what I'm doing. So I'm doing this because I want to make you satisfied. That's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. So also right here, we are doing this to make him pleased. He likes when we study Bhagavatam in the temple with devotees. The super soul is realized when one is eager for liberation from the unlimited varieties of material life. One actually attains such liberation when one engages in the transcendental loving service of the Lord and realizes the Lord because of his attitude of service. The Lord may be addressed by various spiritual names which are inconceivable to the material senses. When will that Supreme Personality of Godhead be pleased with me? Prasidatam. May he be pleased with you. That's the core of Bhakti. Perfect. In his commentary to this verse, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur uses the word durvigyayam, which means very difficult to realize. The pure stage of existence is described in Bhagavad Gita 7.28, wherein Krishna says, Yesham tvam tagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te vandamohanir mukta bhajante mam dridhavrata. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, whose sinful actions are completely eradicated and who are freed from the duality of delusion, engage themselves in my service with determination. So, either we are very, very pious, or we don't have determination. So what do we do? Krishna Chakravarti Thakur fortunately says that punya karmanam, are not some pious acts, material pious acts. He says these are bhakti acts. And bhakti acts are obtained even by devotees looking at us. So when devotees look at us, this is bhakti punya. So just like you go, Nitai Prabhu takes books and goes and looks at people, and they get punya. And then they take the book. Now he doesn't look, he doesn't want to give us too much punya. He saves for the Sankirtan. And then when they use this punya, then they get even more punya. They take the book and even more punya. Then they hear Hare Krishna. And then they read the book and chant Hare Krishna. If not now, then later. Elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita 9.14, the Lord says, Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridhavratam namasyantascha mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. Again, you can see dridhavrata was there, yes, in that verse. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination. Bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. Satatam kirtayanto, always glorifying. So you glorify by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. But also, when you don't chant, how do you glorify? Remembering. And if you don't remember, if you are
by glorifying his external material energies and material nature.
Sounds risky.
Why?
There are many manifestations of material energy.
But everything comes from him.
There you are.
And everything is for his pleasure, to serve him.
Yes. Yeah, true. So also in general, our at least you walk around with a shikha, and then people will say, "Oh, look, Hare Krishna." Reverse Sankirtan. Or you have Kantimala, or you have something else that people recognize. So, then, they chant Hare Krishna. One can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead after transcending all material impediments. Ovira, do you have any impediments? Therefore, Lord Krishna also says in the Gita 7.3, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatadisidaye yatatam avisidhanam kaschin mam vetti tatvataha. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection. And of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. We have 300,000 people in Ljubljana. Out of them, how many endeavor to know Krishna? Or endeavor for perfection? Jai. And those who are really, really nice, Krishna says, a few know me in truth. So there are, but few. To understand Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one must undergo severe penances and austerities. But since the path of devotional service is perfect, by following this process one can very easily come to the spiritual platform and understand the Lord. Is it severe penance and austerity, or is it easy? Very easy. Which one is it?
Very easy.
Very easy. But there is also severe austerity. So it's the austerity of accepting is easy. And our austerity is happy. We sing, dance, read, and eat prasadam, Prabhupada says. Which is easy, right? But austere. So it's both austere and easy. So austerity is inside. In the 17th chapter of the Gita, Krishna says, Manah prasada, be satisfied. And that's, when you are satisfied, it's easy. But when you are not satisfied, it's austerity. So before you agree to be satisfied, it's not to not be angry, to not be lusty, to not be greedy. That's austerity. But when you decide, enough, I'm satisfied, then it's easy. Because you didn't have to sit in, is it Ljubljana? It's closer than Sava, right? You don't have to sit. But is it cold here? Yeah, it must be cold, 3 degrees in the morning. You don't have to sit up to your neck in Ljubljana for 3 hours, as the yogis do. You can sit on the warm floor and dance. Yeah, just think about it. It's so amazing. What's your process? Our process, every morning we must have a party. 2 parties. For the proper advanced practitioners. And we start at 4, at 5. First party. Then we cool down a little, we sing, and then we must have another party. And then we sing poetry. So that's the process. Is it easy or is it austere? You decide, yes. This too is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, 1855, wherein Krishna says, Bhaktya abhijanati yavanyascha smitatvata tatomam tattvato gyatva vishate tadanantaram. One can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead as He is only by devotional service. And when one is in full consciousness of the Supreme Lord, by such devotion, he can enter into the kingdom of God. Thus, although the subject matter is durvigyayam, extremely difficult to understand, it becomes easy if one follows the prescribed method. Coming in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead is possible through pure devotional service, which begins with Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. So, we hear and chant. In this regard, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quotes a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 285. Pravishta karnarandrena svanam bhava saroruham. The process hearing and chanting enters the core of the heart, and in this way one becomes a pure devotee. It's a nice translation. So 285, it's a very important number to remember. 285. Because this verse says that too late, you're here, and Krishna sneaked into your ears and then he sits on the lotus of your heart. If you don't have a lotus of the heart, then I don't know, then it's difficult. I don't know what happens if you don't have a lotus of your heart. But otherwise, as soon as you hear, when you hear about Krishna, he comes through the ear and he sits in the heart. So you don't have Paramatma, normal. You have Krishna, if you hear about Krishna. And we hear about Krishna in the Bhagavad. So don't think that this, I don't know who you invite, but we are hearing about Krishna, so Krishna enters. And some people say that first you need the beautiful lotus for Krishna to sit. But here, Srila Prabhupada says that Krishna enters and then you become a pure devotee. So it seems to be very merciful. Right? We hear and then my cactus heart becomes gradually loses the spikes and gradually becomes softer. And even cactuses, they blossom. By continuing this process, that's not the end, one comes to the stage of transcendental love, and then he appreciates the transcendental name, form, qualities, and pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, a pure devotee, by devotional service, is able to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead despite many material impediments, which are all various energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Easily making his way through these impediments, a devotee comes directly in contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. After all, the material impediments described in these verses are but various energies of the Lord. So like electricity, which is a form of fire, and earth. So Prabhupada would always say, like this microphone. He says this is a transformation of earth plus fire is there as electricity. So usually earth blocks your vision, right? And fire also, it's electricity. It's not something that is very pleasant to touch. Yes. However, here, this same earth, which usually is a block, like the walls, which usually blocks and covers, and fire, or electricity, which usually shocks you, helps us to hear about Krishna. So it can cover or it can open, it can reveal. So the same energy, the same material energy, it can act as covering or it can act as a window or as a help to reveal Krishna. So this is the essence. So it depends how you use and why you use it. And of course, prasidatam, the main thing. Krishna, please, this is for you. So, then easily, Prabhupada said, easily making his way through these impediments. 27 obstacles. It's an obstacle course. Obstacle course. Do you have obstacle courses? So this is the obstacle course. But here, this obstacle course brings us to Krishna. Easily. And then Prabhupada continues, when a devotee is eager to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he prays to the Lord, Ayinanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishamevam buddha kripaya dhampada pankaja stita dori satrisham vichintaya. Okay, congratulations, we are 2/3 through the commentary. O son of Maharaj Nanda, Krishna. That's how you pray if you are eager to see him, to meet him. And if you are not eager, why should we help you meet him? So that's how we pray, right? I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death. Ocean of death. And place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Being pleased with the devotee, the Lord turns all his material impediments into spiritual service. It's very mysterious, it's very interesting. Again, so it's material, and it's a material impediment. So impediment is bad, right? So some obstacle, this is an obstacle, this is bad. But here, Prabhupada says that Krishna, when he's pleased with you, he turns the obstacle into service. Spiritual service. It's interesting. So it's any comparison between the mic and the electricity, maybe also the road. Like, for example, we go to ЛИКЕ. Yes? So there is distance, and there is a road, and there is we go up. So that's an impediment. We have to cross. But if we sing Hare Krishna there, and if you think about Krishna, and this road becomes service. Impediment becomes spiritual service. Also, for example, you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, and the mind flies away to Medenyaki, to Pishkotki, to Sozice, to pizza. And then you say, Krishna ki jai, Krishna is so nice, Krishna is created,
So sweet.
Krishna is so sweet, Krishna created Medenyaki, Krishna made Late Govinda Prabhu's heart merciful, and he's hands expert, and he eats, and so Krishna's ki jai. So Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we bring the mind to Krishna again. So every time when the mind goes away, you bring the mind back to Krishna, and you see Krishna. So you can see this is Daksha's service to populate the universe, So he glorifies all the elements of this universe as Krishna's energies, so that he can remember Krishna and serve Krishna through these material elements. And Prabhupada, so in this verse, Prabhupada gives a whole program, how the impossible becomes easy. How the impossible becomes easy. How the obstacle becomes a path. How a failure becomes a step forward. Yesterday I was listening to Radhika Raman's interview to Krishna Kshetra Maharaj about the Bhagavatam. They published these 2 books on the Bhagavatam, and so there was a meeting in India about the Bhagavatam. I think Bhagavatam was the topic. So they discussed. So Krishna Kshetra Maharaj interviews Radhika Raman. Professor Kenneth Velpe interviews Professor Ravi Gupta. So he asks different questions, and Radhika Raman says, you can see how the Bhagavatam describes a devotee, many different devotees, and he says how some devotees have difficulties and achieve success, and some devotees fail. And then through this failure, they achieve success, like Gajendra. He becomes an elephant, and then he goes to Krishna. Or Ajamil, or who else? Is there anybody else who failed and went to Krishna? Jadavara, yes. Vritrasura, yes. So I thought it's an interesting point. There are many
demons go.
Who?
Putana.
Okay, but that's, you need some other Puranas also to know that she wanted to serve Vamana. But yes, so I thought it's an interesting point that indeed it's a repeated topic. Failure. There is a lecture by Radhanath Maharaj. Failures as pillars to success. And he gives a very thorough list of famous failures. I remember Beatles, who were rejected 60 times in all the recording companies. They come and they, useless, go away. Come to another one, useless, go away. Another one, useless, go away. 60 times. If 60 times somebody told you, useless, go away, would you continue? And then they become Beatles. And there is nobody more successful in history.
But how we can understand their success, because this is the success of material energy, and then they just get involved in more material activities. I think this is not the path of liberation. How we can understand this as a success for a devotee?
You can see the principle that they fail, but they persevere. The Vidhavarata was repeated here. They persevere, and at the end they achieve incredible, spectacular, unprecedented success. Even though 60 times it seems hopeless, at the end they achieve incredible success. So if it is possible in the material life, how much more possible it is for something that is eternally wonderful, like Krishna. If they didn't stop in the material endeavor and achieved such a success, how much more it is worth to continue for Krishna. So by principle, just the principle is illustrated.
Yeah.
And of course George Harrison, he was instrumental helping us spread Krishna consciousness in the world. Actually the whole Beatles. All we are saying is give your peace a chance. Hare Krishna. No, how is it? He was also saying Krishna there. Did you hear this give peace a chance?
Yes.
He said Krishna there. So millions of people have heard Krishna. Maybe they didn't notice, But then they see you on the street and they hear Hare Krishna. And they something I heard somewhere very So they also they were used. They're not completely material. Or Ringo Starr. I mean, not only George Harrison, all of them. Ringo Starr. I'm a walrus, elementary penguin, chanting Hare Krishna. Saying Hare Krishna. And again, people listen, think, oh, very funny, elementary penguin, chanting Hare Krishna. What is Hare Krishna? And then they see on the street Hare Krishna. I heard Hare Krishna. Some good place. Ah, Ringo's. What was it? So they did some set. I mean, they did a lot. Next.
No.
Doubt? You're satisfied. Ringo Starr convinced you. Elementary penguin chanting Hare Krishna.
No, the thing
Chant Hare Krishna. Maybe we can chant.
The thing I'm convinced because I don't understand nothing. Here are more doubts, but I think eventually I will clear these doubts.
What I'm saying, Raghunath Maharaj uses this, he's giving many examples of material failures. How people fail, but don't give up. And at the end, they become more successful than some who didn't fail.
But this is material success, this is not a success. This is just a principle, yeah. Why he didn't talk about our movement, ISKCON, how we got some failures and we success?
So this is the illustration. So we have the full Bhagavatam,
Yes,
the whole Bhagavatam, Ajamil. Failure? Yes.
yes.
Success?
Yes.
Afterwards?
Yes.
Yes. Gajendra. Failure? Yes. Success? Yes. Jat Bharat. Failure? Becoming a deer. Yes. Success? Yes. Becoming seeing Krishna. So, in other words, he shows that this is not only the principle here that you must fail. He shows that this is a universal principle. If you that a failure is a failure only if you stop. A failure is a failure only if you don't learn. But if you continue, it's a lesson.
I have some other connected doubt. On je lahko brez sredstva moram I have connected out. Now we are for
Imam tu napisano, prosim ponovi vprašanje občinstva za naše internetno poslušalstvo. Ki teh vprašanj ne sliši, hvala. Go online, let the world hear you. All the 20 people.
For 50 years we are speaking about Beatles as one of the this word example proponents of material successful to some extent Krishna conscious endeavor. But where are Beatles now? Where are modern singers now? Now it seems one-time event, but now this kind of preaching which was very, I mean, as if the Hare Krishna movement is in this respect stuck. Who are the preachers, successful like musicians now who are spreading the movement? Like if you have any, why it's like that? Why new people aren't coming who are so able with, I mean, so famous? Where are those? Maybe they are, but I don't see them. If you can maybe clear that doubt.
All right, famous people in Krishna consciousness.
Yes.
Huh?
Russell something.
Yeah, Russell. Huh? Yes. Or
He is really a devotee, or
he's
Russell.
all always speaks about Krishna, invites all devotees, he's always pushing, he has Krishna in the... Yeah, he speaks about Krishna in all different interviews. He just throws in Krishna to...
I understand he's a stand-up...
No, not the comedian. There is a comedian, that's another one.
And what is this person doing?
He's like a reporter, I think, right?
Actor.
Actor? Actor. Yes, actor. He's actor, but he has his program on TV and Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada. Is it the famous person?
I mean, I'm not allowed. I've been in touch with politics a lot 10 years ago, but since then,
Not anymore. Okay, so
books don't allow me. Sorry.
Okay, so like Prime Minister of Canada.
Okay.
Right? So what was it? Just a few days ago, there was some article. He said, "Oh, my father loved you guys, Hare Krishnas." So, and then I forgot what else he said, but he knows Hare Krishnas well.
Yeah, but he's mentioning them, but is he actually doing something? And that's the question. The same, because this, what was the Beatles, George Harrison, he actually was a devotee, he actually did something, I mean, like...
No, some are. There are some who?
Yeah.
Krishna.
He's Sachinandana Swami, is a very well-known singer from Croatia.
There are some, sometimes there are, I mean, of course, Beatles is unbeatable in terms of, I mean, just the volume of their...
And you're listening every day to
Senator
him.
Connor, singer.
Yeah,
George
she's
Harrison.
Connor, yeah,
She's old lady now, probably.
George Harrison.
yeah, there was something about the rock era that people were very serious about. But so now they usually sing about simpler things. But there is another one. What is her? Some new singer. Gosh, I don't know that. It's me. I'm not following them.
Yeah.
So she's putting Instagram pictures with her readings, Science of Self-Realization, saying this is a very good book you should read, and she's famous. But anyway, the fact that who would you want to see as the next George Harrison? You don't even know. it's just...
No, I know, but I'm ashamed to say it. But
Why not?
no, I will say it privately.
Anyway, the world has positively changed in significant ways. Like Obama pulling out of his pocket Hanuman, little Hanuman, in an interview, saying, "I keep in my pocket some important things for me on TV." He's giving an interview, and he said, "This is beads one Christian nun gave me, and this is something else that I carry for good luck, and this is Hanuman I got from Yogini in somewhere. So I carry also. He's the god of power, intelligence, or something. I forgot what he. Just it may not be so. He didn't pull out beads and he didn't show. You see, I have some Himalaya or something. But something is there. More massive. And they all say. Like just a few days ago, the American-born Minister of Health in Ukraine, it's 42 million people. She every day she writes some posts on her Facebook. She says vegetarianism and big, and then the next day she writes meditation. Meditation is very important. If you do not meditate, you are. So it just creates, and then she meets you on the street and you just mention, oh, we are vegetarians, oh, we are meditating, and then people are ready, Oh, the Minister of Health said we should meditate, okay, let me me see, what is it? What? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
So, if I will be not too much provocative, then Hitler with his swastika around in his flag, he was promoting Krishna conscious big time.
Well, small time, enter time. He still suffered with his swastika misuse. It's no,
Still
it
don't understand.
gave very bad rap to swastika. Till today, people hate swastika because of. But Prabhupada was saying that even negative publicity. Who said there is no negative publicity? There is just publicity. So he used it properly. Okay, so we haven't finished. That was just.
Did you talk that people failed and persisted and then
Yes.
they succeed?
Yes.
But in Bhagavatam, for example, Arjuna, he failed and, as I said, he didn't persist. He didn't do much and he still succeeded.
He failed, and then he was saved by that service he did when he was young. He was saved from death, from Yamadutas, from hell. But then he went to the Himalayas and he did serious sadhana until after some years, then again the spaceship from Vaikuntha came and said, okay, let's go. now you can go, now you can come. But the point is that the failure is not the end. The impediment, because we are afraid of impediments, we are afraid of obstacles, failures, never fail. But that nice lecture by Radha Maharaj shows how the whole world is built on people who didn't stop after one failure, two failures, three failures. They just didn't stop. And that reminded me of Radhika Raman giving that comment that the Bhagavatam has a big collection of stories of failures and how even after a failure, devotees can achieve spectacular success. So it's not the end. So that's the point. Because Prabhupada mentions, the verses mention 27 obstacles. Everything is an obstacle. And the purport mentions obstacles several times. But then Prabhupada also says, easy. Then obstacle. So he says that it becomes, the obstacle becomes, yeah, this is the book, the new bestseller. Obstacle is the way. The obstacle is the way. So that's the point, that's the principle we are talking about. That, you know, oh, I couldn't chant attentively this last round. Oh, you hopeless. I go jump into Jadransko more. No, continue. As Jigaro Kano, the founder of Judo, said, Judo means not to win, but to fall 8 times, no, fall 7 times and stand up 8 times. That's the idea, then you win. Doesn't matter if you fell down 7 times, but if you stood up 8 times, you win. Okay, so being pleased with the devotee, the Lord turns all his material impediments into spiritual service. In this connection, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quotes a verse from Vishnu Purana. Vladini sandini samvit vayeka sarva samstitau vladata pakari mishrat vayino gunavarjitay. In the material world, the spiritual energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is manifested as tapakari, which means causing miseries. Source of pleasure becomes source of misery. Everyone hungers for happiness, but although happiness originally comes from the pleasure potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in the material world, because of material activities, the pleasure potency of the Lord becomes a source of miseries. Hlada, tapa, kari. False happiness in the material world is the source of distress. Any example? How false happiness becomes the source of distress. Okay, I give you an example. Fat, cheesy, tasty pizza, 20 every day for 5 years. And then the liver says, bye-bye. Happiness turns into the source of distress. Yeah? False happiness. But one's endeavors for happiness, but when one's endeavors for happiness are redirected toward the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this tapakari element of misery is vanquished. An example, so if you offer the pizza to Krishna and eat it on festivals only, or Sunday only, or after a hard day of work only. An example given in this connection is that extracting fire from wood is certainly difficult, but when the fire comes out, it burns the wood to ashes. In other words, experiencing the Supreme Personality of Godhead is extremely difficult for those devoid of devotional service, but everything becomes easier for a devotee. And thus he can very easily meet the Supreme Lord. Here the prayers say that the form of the Lord is beyond the jurisdiction of material form, is therefore inconceivable. A devotee prays, however, my dear Lord, be pleased with me so that I may very easily see your transcendental form and potency. Non-devotees try to understand the Supreme Brahman by discussions of nehi, nehi. Not this, not that. Nisheda, nirvana, sukhanubhuti. A devotee, however, simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, avoids such laborious speculations and realizes the existence of the Lord very easily. I might count it about 7 or 8 times. And it's easy. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. So questions we had, comments we had, purpose we had, everything we had.
Do we achieve liberation already? No?
Potentially.
Potentially.
The door is unlocked. Now it's for us to just walk through.
Because it's very easy.
The only barrier is in your mind.
Thank you very much. Shila Prabhupada, Ki
Ki
Jai.
Jai.